once again today to actually deliver a stream of Orb on the Moons of the Earth, the anime series. Pray Jesus actually works today, because I've been spending like the last 10 hours troubleshooting shit. Yeah, I changed audio interfaces once again, and all hell broke loose for about a solid 10 hours. So thankfully, I think it's working now. I've got to actually keep watch over it. I've got to sort out the ins and outs of it, but it's actually working at least. Anywho, yeah, so today actually I'll watch episode 11 of Orb on the Movements of the Earth, as episode 10 actually ended on the completion. So we will see the fallout of that. I can't see how they adapt this section, because this section is, by all accounts, as the cool kids would say, peak fiction. And I've been waiting for this ever since I read it, so it'd be interesting to see how they do adapt it. There's some bits and bobs in between still that they have to get towards that point, but it's still going to be a very cool thing to do, and I like cool thing to adapt. And I also kind of like that Madhouse has actually improved a lot since the prior episodes, because the prior ones were a little bit iffy. Now it's more solid. The adaptations actually looks really good. I like the look of it. Everything about it is pretty nice. So anyways, actually put on Twitter actually gone live. If I remember where it was. All right, so streaming. Come by and get comfy as we watch episode 11 of Orb. So I did think that the call's almost over. I just realized that. I was like, holy shit, yeah, we're in December, aren't we? Call's like maybe 2 more weeks left and it's done. I'm like, bro, what the fuck? Where has the year gone? Right, anyway, let's get this shot on the road. Let's start this thing in 3, 2, 1. Let's start this thing absolutely now. Sometimes it does work on the first time, other times it doesn't. There is no in between. I do actually kind of love, like, the thing with Nowak is, like, he's kind of detestable, but he's also very chill and kind of cool at the same time. He very much does embody that whole character voiced by Tsuda Ken. It's one of those times I don't think anyone else could have done it. So he has those inflictions. It's just, you can't hate him. It's impossible. The guy kind of got blessed with the voice of the gods, that you just can't hate the characters he voices. Ugh, 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 ugh. I regret this section a lot. Last time we see this guy, I kind of hate this guy with a passion. Just, I feel like Noak's like one level of bad, and you got this guy just like, fuck, no, just get this dude out of here. I do love that as well, like how he just goes, yeah, he's celebrating in a public way. It's kind of one of those things. It does sort of add this whole idea that there's more going on in the church than what's led on to believe. Is an interesting concept because again, this whole entire time and this whole entire anime, you meant to believe what the church says to be absolute, and clearly that's not the case at all. And even there's a bit of hypocrisy in there as well. It's I find the deconstruction of the whole entire concept quite interesting, and it's one of those things that as time goes on, it will be explored even more. So I can't wait to see it because it is a really interesting idea this show actually poses. Because it doesn't so much go against it as so much as it just kind of raises these points, if that makes sense. I feel like that's the differentiation between shows that do sort of go against the church versus the ones that sort of raise these things about it. But yeah, I mean, overall, I feel like this show is going from strength to strength each week in the sense that the animation's improved once again. But on a micro level, the characters actually have those bits and bobs of development. It's actually really well done as well. Like the stuff with Bedeni is one of those prime examples that he's a person who's very stoic and very kind of closed off. We know why, but even more so that he's closed off, but at the same time he slowly starts to kind of break that barrier down. I can't wait to see what else they do with his character in his arc because it's one of those things. He's a very interesting person. That's how to be very very fucking cool. Ew. Do you also kind of feel like as well? The other thing is the so starting to see the cracks in the church as well. I felt these two characters that be introduced sort of start to raise that whole like crack starting the show. The idea of kind of not really seeing eye to eye with how the church actually does it. That's kind of a cool camera shot there, I should say. Like I said, it's one of those things. It's quite interesting to see a character not be so gun ho about his whole entire thing. I hate how chill he is though. At these points in time, like I just hate it because he's so chill. Well, one thing I do actually appreciate as well is the tension in these scenes as well. It's really, really palpable. Is that the correct term? I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not as if the scene doesn't have tension in it, but the way this show does it is actually very like it's edge of your seat kind of thing. All right, interesting. That's a good shot. See, it's that idea, like it's the dichotomy between terror and truth as well. It is always interesting to me how the show portrays like the dichotomy, especially just then as well when where Noah was explaining the entire thing and you had the sun like going down on him as if to kind of give him his like heavenly perspective, like heavenly persona, but he's not at all. What they're doing here is everything but heavenly in a way. I found that shot to be very, very well done. It kind of the show does it quite often 'cause it did it prior episode with the bishop as well. How the shot had this whole like what's the word, sereneness to it, and it was everything but, because we know what goes on in the church at this point in time. So I always find it quite interesting how the show does do that like very much now all the time. It does examine the concepts of how almost hypocritical the church actually kind of is in that way. How it's meant to be this whole like heavenly place is full of this going on basically. And then also them deluding themselves thinking it's a humankind as well. And I find endlessly fascinating how the show does portray the church. They're so cool. They're so cool. So I imagine it probably will end where I think it will end. This core, at least. Oh shit, bruv. Oh shit, bruv. It's happening. He's so cool. Cause he's so cool. Like I said in prior episodes, like you would never have thought when you first met Cozzy that he would actually like grow out that shell, grow out that shell that he was in. But it's so nice to actually see him like grow. It's been really nice. And like I said as well, it's one of those things like the characters prior always do live on this show as well. They kind of like that as well. God damn this moment. Oh man, that's actually really cool as well. I like that. That's cool. It's so well done. Holy shit. I do sort of kind of like that. There's also that dichotomy between the cracks showing the church versus the cracks showing here, because now it's sort of he kind of puts a thorn in their side. I sort of like that aspect as well. I sort of noticed that just now. Again, you wouldn't think that he's this evil character the way he actually kind of acts with Jolenta as well. Oh god. Because he's just over there shitting himself like, oh fuck me, mate, this isn't good. I love how cool headed Badeni actually is. Like in any situation, he's kind of like, I've got this, bro. Don't worry. God, you actually end it there as well. Holy shit. Okay. Yeah. So I imagine I know where it's gonna. I know how this call will end then. So yeah, I mean, overall, great episode. I love how the show does sort of present the idea that there is cracks starting to show in both perspectives. Because there is, don't get me wrong, it's not to a degree with the church that you're like the whole entire church is crumbling, but there is this now concept that there is characters who sort of oppose the way that the church does things, and I kind of find it to be really interesting as well because now we have this idea that maybe not just them but new recruits might even start to kind of say, well, I don't want to do that, because clearly the idea is that they have to delude themselves to a point that they sort of accept what they're doing and sort of just move on, because it's clear that it's clear they can't accept it in any other way, because they sort of delude themselves that they're helping humanity in a way, and it's one of those things that clearly it isn't, but that's how they see it in a way. I don't think anything will ever change that. And it's actually quite interesting to see Nowak's actual like emotions during that entire scene because there is none. He's completely stone faced in a way, and I kind of find it to be quite fascinating as well because he's a character who's seen this his whole entire life, so he's just grown numb to it and doesn't actually really see any emotions. There is this idea that he's kind of playful about it as well to a very interesting degree. It's not a very typical kind of like playfulness, but he kind of has that quirky nature about him, and I find it to be quite cool as well to see that part about him because he's one of those things that you don't really expect a character that is about to murder someone or get truth out of them to a point they almost get murdered to be this like not cracking jokes but kind of like have this very like stoic nature that has like he kind of is playing around a little bit. So I kind of like that, but again, like I said, it's kind of interesting to see characters now posing that idea that maybe they don't see eye to eye with it. And also, it's slowly starting to present that there's this slight hypocrisy in the way the church actually operates, with the way that they actually say, like the way that Novak was explaining everything and the shine and the light shining on him. When that happens in other mediums or in other shows, it's to represent this idea that this character is heavenly. This character is to represent like purity in a way, and Noak is anything further from purity. So I kind of like that whole concept. The way that the show does it is very show don't tell, and I kind of feel like it's actually its best advantage in the show. I feel like this more so than the manga does that. I actually kind of like that aspect because show don't tell is a very critical thing that, like I said, you do see it quite often nowadays. Not so much years ago, but here, the way it does it is very fascinating. I kind of like that aspect about it as well. And also like how on the other side as well with Akozi, Bedeni, and Jolenta, you actually now have the crack showing because Noak has entered. And I like also that whole entire scene of Jolenta actually introducing her father in other mediums, other shows, other films. When you introduce a family member, it's meant to be like this grand moment. You're meant to be like, oh wow, okay, fine, that's actually quite cool. And it felt like as if someone fucking died. I kind of felt that was really well done as well. So it kind of presents this idea that now they have this thorn in their side. They can't necessarily operate in a very typical way because if they do, now he will come busting down the door and try and murder them. So I like that aspect as well because now you hit this kind of crescendo moment, this crossroad now that where do we go from here? Do they continue on? Do they abandon everything and just kind of stop? Who knows? What can they do at this point? And it also kind of then puts Jolenta in a very kind of bad position as well because she's kind of stuck in the middle as well. I kind of like how this show does sort of present that kind of that rising tension, so to speak. That's what I was looking for, the rising tension. Because now we hit that moment in the narrative, you're like, oh shit, what the fuck can I do? And it is quite a fearful series. This show can make tension out of like the most normal scene in the universe. And I like that as well because the scene with when Jolenta introduces Noak as a father, that whole entire scene had more tension you get in an average show. And it's a complete ordinary scene because he's not done anything. He's not done anything to Badeni personally, to Okozi, they've met, but he hasn't done anything to them personally. So I kind of like how the show does sort of present that it's not necessarily meant to be a good scene. It's not meant to be a scene of happiness. It's meant to be a scene of absolute fucking abject terror. So yeah, I mean, the show is amazing at doing that kind of thing, and also a standout for this episode as well was the OST. The OST was fantastic. I like the OST during the scenes with Noak as well. I thought they actually did an amazing job to actually portray this sense of fear in the actual audience. Like I said, it's one of those things you don't see OSTs too much evoke that emotion. 9 10 times they're kind of there. You're kind of like, yeah, that's kind of does the job, I guess. But I feel like here it's almost its own character in a way as well. So yeah, I mean, I guess we're sort of at the end of the core now, so to speak. So I kind of see how else they adapt this whole entire arc. 'Cause it's going to be a fucking masterpiece if they adapt it like to how I thought they will adapt it. And it's kind of see how they do close off this whole entire arc and actually subsequently where do we go from here as well, and actually the reaction on the internet for this whole entire ending as well. So yeah, that is me done for today. So you actually have enjoyed the entire stream as a whole on Twitch. And as always, do follow me on Twitch because you do see these streams live and any other streams I may do as well. Actually have then enjoyed this entire stream as a whole on YouTube. And as always, do leave a like on YouTube. It does help quite a bit. Leave a sub as well, both do help quite a lot. You actually have then enjoyed this entire stream as a whole on YouTube. As always, do leave a follow on Twitter as well. Helps quite a bit also. You actually will then know when these streams are live and any other streams I may do as well. So yeah, into episode 12? 12, yes, of Orb on the Movements of the Earth. I will see you guys then. Bye for now.